Okay, doing a little more work on the tr3, cleaning off bits and pieces off this floor pan for the trunk, and straightening it out a little bit. It had some small dings in it and pushed down a little bit, but it smoothed out actually really nice. Seeing I have to do a little rust repair after removing some of the loose bits. I'll try to make up somewhat of a video for the weekend, because apparently Chef Tush is out on the road for weeks, it almost seems like, so he needs a fix. So here it is. I'm trying a new spot weld drill. I've been using this style, and they've been working pretty good, but I've been wanting to try the one like most everybody else I see is using, is, you know, this style. And yeah, they're vicious little suckers. Last night I was drilling out bits of the old wheel well tub, because I'm using the tub off the old race car. It's in good shape, but it has a couple of damaged edges, so I've left bits there and bits there that I got trimmed down and work into the other tub. But I've been drilling out all the tack welds, and yeah, there's some rust that was hiding underneath that seam, rusted through, and there's some rust under that seam rusted through, so I'm going to have to fix little strips here and there. And actually I'm going to be cutting somewhere along in here to put this late floor into an early car. So I may end up losing that rust that way, I'm not certain yet. Straightening out little bits. I borrowed a friend's pressure blaster, the blast in the nooks and crannies before I put this floor down, where all this area here where it's hiding a whole myriad of places, and underneath the back of the rear valve, or the rear apron, that I got that all opened up. So like I showed you before, I'll be blasting down into those cavities and getting them clean and PORing them, sealing up. But yeah, I got edges like here. I'm going to cut back to the radius, and then I also got to cut pieces out to where that little modification from the race car days, and cut back those bits of inner fender. I got to save some of it, but it's going to be right on the edge, so I don't need all that. But flange pretty much all the way around, and that wheel tub's really nice. It's just where they did race car modifications where they hack stuff up. And yeah, on the original tub, it's right there inside this fuel line hole. So I'm going to be cutting it right along here somewhere, and I may venture off up into here. I don't know yet exactly how I'm going to cut it off. But, so that's part of the work I got to do. I ordered a new battery box from the Roadster factory for obvious reasons, and the little closing panel that goes underneath the back of this rear apron. But man, I can't. They want to ship them separately because of what it costs up here to Alaska, and they're talking $45 or $47 to ship that little strip of metal, and that's insane. So I got to wait for a little bit. I'm going to end up needing inner rockers. I can't. These are shot. I can't salvage. The old race car ones look pretty good until I started buffing them down, and I'm finding there's more damage than is reasonably repaired. So I gotta save my shekels and come up with a cost to ship that, and then I'll ship that little valance piece under there, because that'll fit in that same box. So, but I got plenty to do. I got a lot of work to do in the back end. I got to bring the other chassis and cowl in and work on it, so it isn't like it's going to put me at a stop for a while. And I can go install the new battery box and on and on. There's plenty to do, and things come together. I'll get those inner rockers and little pieces ordered. I was hoping not to do it, but the realization happens eventually, even after you put in a few hours worth of work trying to save something and end up having to basically toss it on the trash heap. That's always pleasant. Alright, I'll bring you back in a little bit. Okay, here's a neat little trick I learned off of Trevor's blog. Let's see how I can do this one-handed, holding the camera. Anyway, I need to draw a straight line to cut this piece off, and in a proximity where I need it on the car. And Trevor showed a neat little trick using where am I at? There. Using a washer to hold your pin at the same level. So let me see if I can do this one-handed. Well, look at that. Pretty cool. Neat little trick. Kind of rough on rusty metal there, but it still gave me a line right across there. Now I can get out the grinder and whack that piece off. I'm probably going to need to be a little bit shorter, but this gets me close. Neat little trick. Well, hopefully that sun line doesn't disrupt the video a whole lot. I haven't got much choice right at the moment. And if I'm yelling, it's because I've got headphones on. So I got to take this little strip off that was left from the old apron. And I already did trim off the bits I was talking about earlier. And I'm out here in my barn in the cold at about 5 degrees. I try to keep the grinding dust to a minimum in the shop. Come on. The switch is worn out in my old grinder. I have to hold it on. Well, I'm sure you find this all very fascinating, but I'll bring you back for the final result. Well, it wasn't that exciting. Most people's deep freezes aren't even as cold as it is here for months out of the year. Now, let's see if I got that thin enough to kind of peel it off of there. I'm trying not to punch any holes in the steel I want to use because I want to put the holes, or I'm ordered a spot welder and I may not need the holes in some places. So if I got this thin enough, yes, always use the proper tools when doing this work. That's pretty thin. I ground until my hands went numb. So, let's see if I can peel some of this off, or if I've got to go out and grind it thinner in the freezer. Got it pretty thin. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't go like that. Pretty good. It'll probably take me a little while. What the hell? I can't go outside and play, so I guess I might as well sit here and play this game. See, it didn't quite come to the edge there, so maybe I can use that. I guess I could have made that a little thinner. Seems to be pretty thin. More of that exciting work I was talking about. The never-ending hours and hours of it. If it turns your crank, then you're in heaven then. Some of it's just, or some of us, it's just what has to be done. Trying to be nice and precision about things, but oh yeah, if it came apart like that, I'd really be happy. Just have to grind off the little. Oh, maybe we're on a roll. Probably not. Ever the optimist that I am, well, maybe not. Oh, yeah. Oh, nice. It's almost like opening a sardine can. Yeah, nice big curly Q. Sweet. Oh yeah. Am I keeping you entertained, Dave? trying. Yeah, that was a pretty good curly Q. Put me on almost halfway across. Let's try again. Come on. I'll hope it works. You're all laying bets if I can do this in one continuous curly Q? Ah! If you did, you lost. Yeah, it looks like it's to the edge here now, so I can't grip it as easy. Maybe from this end. Maybe we'll get lucky. I haven't gotten lucky in years, so. That was probably a little more information than you needed. But that's alright. I'm trying to come up with commentary. Give me a break. Damn. So close, but so far. Okay. Gear now. An inch left. Oh, we're gonna be a pain in the ass at the bitter end. Of course. Why shouldn't I be surprised? Ta-da! Just a little bit of grinding for these little nice hand cutters. Straighten the edge a little bit. And no holes. There's just rust holes everywhere else, but there's no holes here. Well, I think I'm a little low on battery power, but we'll see how this works. Yeah, I'm taking this flange off. I'm going to end up cutting the piece down here somewhere, but I don't know exactly where yet. So I want to get this flange out of my way so I can see what I'm doing. And that's how rusty it is. Behind the flange. Not worried about being real pretty getting it off because it doesn't really matter. So, takes a big drill bit. Well, yeah, it sounds like my battery's dying. Battery's dying in the camera, battery's dying on the drill. Sure. Oh, come on, you're almost there. Give it up. Your work here is done. Let somebody else take over. As rusty as you are, you're still going to hold on to the bitter end. Amazing. Spot welds are pretty tough. Even half rusted away. There's another one. Come on! Ah. Hang on, I've got another battery on the charger. There we go. Now what about you? What's the deal? Give it up. Unbelievable. To the bitter end, even the metal's breaking before the tack weld, or spot weld, excuse me. I misspoke. Holy cow. Where's my crowbar? It was the thinnest of metal. This thing's still on. Ah! Victory is mine, but it's going to be short-lived. There's how much rust is in that joint. But yeah, like I say, I'm going to end up trimming it close to the raise on the later pan anyway, so I just need to see where I'm working, and I want to keep a little bit of strength in it with this flange while I'm working on it. And yeah, there's quite a bit of rust on it until I get it really cleaned off to see how. I see a couple of little holes that's going to have to be fixed out in the plate, but overall it's still workable. But boy, if I was down in the States where I could just run down to the Roadster factory or Moss, it would be a big help. But even then, this panel's $400, so I have more time than money. So move on to the next thing here. Well, the gasket girl's telling me it's 2:30 a.m. and well, you can't really see it out there, but we still got a pretty bright moon. Okay, now that my camera's recharged, it died. Hey, you missed all the fun. You can read about it in the newspaper. Well, I got this edge cleaned up there along the inner fender, and this bit cut off the top of the tub. It was all messed up. Now I got to do this side. I just got done drawing the line down the inner fender with my washer and marker, and it works pretty good. And I still got to remove this bit of ragged edge from the beautiful race car modifications this car had. So, and I got to put another new disc on. I should save those and put nails in the wall and hang them up to see how many I go through. There's going to be a few. I think these spots are going to be some of my first repairs on this, welding that up, get those cleaned up and weld in the patches. Yeah, lots to do. So, let me put you on the mount. Oh, come on. There it is. Okay. Turn the screen over so I can see what I'm seeing. Alright. Yeah, there's not much left of these discs after I get done. Down to the nub. Next. Come on. Well, you thread in there, I just threaded you off. There we go. Yeah, this die grinder is getting pretty weak. Probably going to have to invest in a new one. Likes to stop a lot as I'm grinding. It doesn't seem to have the torque it used to have. And everything's getting dirty. Oh, I don't know. Is this a better angle? Maybe. Maybe, maybe not. All right. See what I'm talking about? Yeah, I don't think it's up to the task anymore. I bought this when I was a teenager, so it's got some miles on it. let my compressor catch up. And I'll turn you back on. Well, I just dropped the floor in just for a quick look at fitment. First time I've actually been able to fit something like I'm actually going to put it back together again. Still got to clean up some spot welds, but it dropped in there, you know, pretty much like it should. Yeah, get to looking at how it's going to go, but of course this won't be welded in for quite some time. But it looks like I'm actually going somewhere. Well, the Snap-on girl is telling me it's just about 3 o'clock in the morning. It's, I guess, time to go to bed, work on some more of this tomorrow. Oh, hopefully you can hear over the air compressor, or if I'm screaming, because I have headphones on. I'm finally squaring up these cleanly cut holes from the old race car days. So I taped basically a template around them, so I'm holding somewhat of a squareness. And I already trimmed out this part here. Now I'm doing this one. Then I got to do the other side. Then I can start fitting a piece of steel in there finally. So, a little more grinding I don't want to do in my shop. But it's got to be done. And there we go. At least a clean, somewhat squarish spot to now make a metal template from and get her welded in. This will be the last remnants of what they did to this car to be a race car. Yep, consumed another disc. On my third disc in 24 hours or so. I'm almost done with this little bit. I thought I could finish it with that last disc, but the smaller they get, the quicker they go away. Finish this little bit up on the other side. It's a little wider than this one, but that's what it took to clean the area up. So do that, and then I gotta take it outside and do some grinding. I'm trying to do as little in here as possible. Okay. Done with all that. I got some nice edges to work with instead of gobbledygook. Already looks better, except for the big gaping holes that are there. Funny scraping off this undercoating, how nice it is under there. It's rusty, but it's still in good shape. It'll probably outlast me. Got to figure out how to straighten this. This is bent in. Get it from the back side here or something. I'm not totally certain how I'm going to do that quite yet. But I got other edges here to clean up and around these tubes. So, give me time to contemplate it. But it's getting cleaned up at least. It's not looking bad. Or later. Well, a little more work done. Now I got the die grinder bit out, I guess, and got to get this piece removed out from underneath here. That was from the closing panel. I'm done halfway. Got it all nice and cleaned up. Even got the tube there, edge all cleaned up, weld cleaned off. Corners looking good. Yeah, I've got to do some repair here, but I got to get this other stuff off. Still got that tube to clean the edge up on, and the rest of the bits of the closing panel, I'll get that off tonight. I got to get those two screws loose, hopefully. I don't know where to get these little smaller cage nuts. I guess I can get them from MasterCard too, but I didn't know I needed some smaller ones. And these two spots are nice and squared up so I can fit some patch repair. I'll probably do that this week. That'll be my first actually starting a patch repair. But most of this edge is in pretty good shape, but I'm going to have to fix some places. There was one rust hole, so I can get this blasted in here. I can really see how bad everything is. But man, it's so far all these are good. The closing panel here, even the mounts, they're a little rusted. What I'm thinking about doing is cleaning them, straightening them after the blasting, and I may lay another plate right over the top of this and weld it down to make this double thick. Seems like these fail. I've seen lots of them not in such good shape, so I might beef that up a little bit. But they don't need to be replaced. There's no, at least I don't see any bubbling, you know, or rust is pooching through, so I think these are all real good. A lot of work and cleanup, but the closer I get it, the better it's going to fit on the car, and all part of the process. Alright, well, I think I probably have enough for a video now. So, I'll continue on.